Hey guys, I want to show you how to do a overlay mosaic granny square. Now this is a really simple tutorial that's just going to show you how to join each round invisibly so that you don't see the joins and you can carry your second color up the square. This isn't a tutorial showing you how to make any certain pattern. It's very simple. We aren't actually going to do any overlay stitches in this tutorial. I just want to show you how to join your rounds invisibly so that you can have perfectly beautiful squares. Okay, so this is just the first few rounds of a granny square for overlay mosaic. However, you'll notice there aren't any drop double crochet stitches here. We're doing just single crochets. So what you're going to start with is you're going to start with 8 single crochet into a magic circle or a magic ring, and I've already got that here. I'm going to just pull that tight now. And then the way that you join your very first round when you've done the magic circle is you drop your hook from your loop and insert it back to front into both loops of your very first single crochet stitch like this. Then put that loop back on the hook. You can pull it a little bit tighter just to make it easier. But what you're going to do is you're going to pull it back through to the back of your magic circle. So this is what you'll see on the front. You'll see, and you'll want to pull that nice and tight. So you'll see your 8 single crochet stitches around, and then it's invisibly joined like this. Now in overlay, since you use 2 different colors, what you're going to do is you're going to join your next color now. So I don't use a knot when I join my colors. I sew my ends in really well. If you prefer to use a knot, you can. This is the way that I do it. I just put my yarn over my hook. I leave a nice long end to sew it in really well. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pull that next color, the new color for the next row, you're going to pull it through that loop that's on the back. And then you're going to pull that loop, the green, my first color, really tight, really tight. And then this gray, your color B, becomes your working color for the next row. So what you're going to do after you've pulled it really tight to secure the green and to get it ready for when you switch colors next time to carry it up the yarn, put it in front for just a minute. Okay, chain 1, keep this still in front. And what you're going to do is into the very first stitch, that first single crochet, in the back loop only, because remember, overlay mosaic, when you're working a single crochet, you're always working into the back loop only. Okay, so into the back loop of the first single crochet, we are going to work our first stitch of the next round, and I'm going to work it over the green that I dropped behind. The first stitch of the next row is in my pattern, I label it SCC. This is for a single crochet corner. Okay, and a single crochet corner, I don't have it written out on this sheet, but in my patterns I do, and it is just single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, all worked into the back loop because this is overlay mosaic. So I'm going to work that first single crochet of the corner so that it's over my dropped color of yarn, and then I'm going to let it fall behind. I'm not going to crochet over this anymore, just for the very first stitch so that it's up toward it, so that it's up at the top when I'm ready to use it again. There won't be any yarn dragging across the back this way. Then I'm going to chain 1 and do another single crochet into that back loop, and I've made my first SCC, which is a single crochet corner. Then I'm going to do a single crochet in the next stitch, and I'm going to do that 4 times all the way around. So back loop only, remember, single crochet into the next one. The next one will be a corner, so I'll do single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. I'm going to keep going this all the way around till we get to the other side, and I will show you how to join it. Because when you join it, when you've done around, it's a little bit different than the very beginning time around. Okay, so here's my last stitch. It'll be a single crochet. You see I've gone around 4 times. I've ended at a single crochet. Now I'm going to do an invisible join. Now the joining part is exactly what you've just seen. You're going to drop the loop from your hook, and then you're going to insert your hook back to front into your very first single crochet. Okay, make sure you find the single crochet. Okay, so look and see that here's my corner. I can see, I can see all these stitches into this corner. Here's the top of the first single crochet, here's the top of the chain, and here's the top of the next single crochet that are all in this corner. So this little bit hanging off here, that's the chain that we used to start the round. So back to front into the first single crochet under both loops. Grab the loop you dropped, pull it to the back to join the round invisibly. See there? Okay, now exactly like the last, we're going to pick up the next color and we're going to pull it through that loop. Then we're going to pull the loop of the color we just did super tight and bring it to the front so we can stitch over it once. Technically, I guess it's twice since we're going to chain over it too. Okay, so then what we're going to do, now you can see this is the stitch we went into, right? So the trick I like to use, so here's the first single crochet, here's the chain, here's the second single crochet. Those are all into this corner. It can get a little confusing to see since single crochet is small, and I'm also using DK yarn, which is also small. So what I like to do is I like to stick a stitch marker in the very first stitch that I just did my invisible join in, because that's the first single crochet of a corner. And we're going to actually start each round from here on out in the chain, not the first single crochet, so that we're always starting in a corner with a corner. So I like to stick a stitch marker in that first single crochet just so neither of those loops gets lost while I'm doing the rest of the square. That can happen sometimes and it just makes it easier. And then they're a little bit pulled out so I can see it. I can get my hook in easier. It's a nice trick. Okay, so I've invisible joined, I've pulled through my next color, I've pulled down the color that I'm stopping really tight, bringing it to the front so I can stitch over it once. Then I'm going to chain one in that new color. And corners are always made into corners, which is why I said to put a stitch marker in this first stitch, this because it's the first single crochet of the corner, so that you remember not to stitch into it first. So I'm going to do one single crochet into the back loop only, and I'm going to go over my gray while I do that first single crochet of the corner. Then I'm going to let it fall behind and do everything else without it underneath. So then I'll do the chain one, another single crochet into that corner, and I made another corner. And I'm going to proceed around the square following the directions as the same. I'll do 3 single crochets, then a single crochet corner all the way around. So single crochet, 1, 2, 3. Then I should be working into my corner, and you can see that that's true because you can see all of these stitches are in one. So we know these are our corner stitches. Here, this first one I've done is a single crochet. That was into a single crochet. Now I'm going to be working the corner into the chain, and this is the chain stitch right here. Even though it's hard to see, you can't see a space or anything. You have to trust that if your counts are correct, that when you get to the corner, you will be at the corner. So I'll do corner in the back loop of the, so single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, then I'll do 3 across, and when I do my 1, 2, 3 across, then I know that this is the chain of the corner that I'll be working into. It might seem a little tricky at first. It's really simple. Once you've done 2 squares, you won't even think about it. Just go. So I'm going to get us all the way back around. I'm going to show you that join one more time, and then I will cut these and show you how I join the very last round to make it look really slick. All right, so here's a corner. 1, 2, 3, and remember my last stitch of the round, I put this stitch marker in so I'd be able to find and grab that back loop really easy. So I just like to give it a little tug because for some reason that first single crochet of the round, for me, it always seems to be a little tighter than the rest. I'm not sure why that is. I think it's a tension issue. You might find you have it too. So now that those are not stuck down tight, nice and loose, I can go in the last one for my final single crochet. And then I've gone all the way around. And I'm going to do the invisible join. Pull your hook out, back to front into the first single crochet, put the loop back on, pull it through, next color, pull it tight, you get the sequence, and the whole thing starts again. So I'm going to take this apart, and instead of doing an invisible join, I'm going to show you how to do the ending. Still an invisible join, but okay, so I'm just going to cut these both colors so I can show you my little hack for an ending invisible join. So I'm calling it an ending invisible join. So I cut my yarn, I pull the color I'm working all the way through, then I thread it onto a needle. Ooh, and if you've never seen this trick, so if you have trouble threading needles with yarn, so what you do is put your yarn over your needle and pull it really tight and slide it off the end, and it kind of makes it flat and makes it easier to pull through if you have trouble. Give it a little trick. Okay, so after I've pulled that all the way through, I go through the chain, pretend like I don't know. What we're going to do is, if you know what an invisible join is, we're going to make the invisible join over, we're just going to be doubling the top of the stitch that you already see. So you go into from the front, the chain space, then you go into the top of the last single crochet that you just made. And then I kind of push it down into other stitches behind as well, like this. And what you end up with is, pull it a little bit tighter so it's not like the rest, still just looks like our single crochet, top of the single crochet. We kind of put another top over the top that was already there, but you don't see it. And when you go to join your squares, you will just stitch into these stitches just like normal, and they'll work just like the rest. You just sew this end in really well, and that's it. So that's the ending invisible join. I hope this was helpful. I hope you'll try overlay mosaic in the granny square fashion because it comes out really cool. I have a couple patterns on my website you can find in my shop and give it a try. Thanks, guys.